Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4 p.m. on Thursday, July 10th, 2014. And with a quorum being present, I am going to open this meeting of the New Ulm Public Library Board. Prior to the meeting, you should have received a packet with the agenda and the notes from the June meeting. And so we will begin by approving the minutes from our July meeting. Any questions, changes, revisions to the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
Very good. Motion is approved. We will move on to the second agenda item, which is the June 2014 financial report and summary. Chris?
Thank you. That's on page 3. We are about halfway through 2014 when I prepared this report, and our budget is approximately 46% expended. We have had a couple of unexpected expenses related to building maintenance, and that included refrigerant for a cooling unit and repairing an elevator relay in the main building. So we are a little bit overspent in that area, but underspent in other areas. I want to point out as well that we are overspent in our gas budget. That is something that is set by the city, but it was such a long, cold winter. And just hopefully this fall it won't get too cold too quickly, but we will overspend in that area as well. We did pay this year's overdrive subscription of $3,000, and we pay for the entire county, and then we receive reimbursements from the other 4 Brown County libraries. I have received Springfield's payment, and then today I just got Comfrey's payment. So we'll be getting those from Sleepy Eye and Hanska, I'm sure, quite soon. They did receive that. It's not been maybe a month ago. Otherwise, I think we're on target with our revenues and expenses. I do want to point out we did receive our first half Brown County payment last month, and that has been deposited. We'll receive another payment at the end of the year. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Very good. And then we'll move right on to the librarian's report.
And that starts on page 16. Well, the first item notes that the TDS Automation RFP process continues. I can tell you that concluded today. There was a TDS directors meeting in which we voted to recommend migration to III. And it was quite a lengthy process. We looked at demos back in May and had a lengthy discussion today about the benefits and potential problems with migrating. I don't think any migration is necessarily easy, but when we looked at all the factors, including the functionality, and we looked at costs, and one thing we're also concerned about is that there is no tech coordinator at TDS right now who specifically does that position. Jeannie DeMars retired at the end of 2013. TDS Director Dale Zelenka has taken on that role in addition to being the TDS Director. He said today he spends perhaps 20% of his time on technology. We had a full-time person who was necessary to provide support to all of the libraries in the system. We sure miss having that. Switching over isn't going to solve all the problems, but we are part of the package with migrating is we will have a migration consultant come on board for at least a year, and depending on state funding, we perhaps would be able to keep that person on longer. It will get us through the transition. Our contract with CERC is up March 1st. So the transition will start very soon, and then libraries will start seeing training and changes probably January and into February. Yes?
I know originally there was some disagreement among the directors about this. Were they all pretty much on board now after this discussion?
The vote ended up 11 for III, 3 for CERC, and 2 abstentions. But it wasn't an overwhelming positive to migrate. But all things considered, we do think that it will be a positive transition. Again, I am concerned about the tech support and hope that we can get that solved. Yes.
Two questions. One, when this was talked about that, Jeannie was replaced, but really not replaced. Is that on the horizon after the year goes by that there will be I think it has to be done, but because we can't go on like it's been going on. So was there pretty an indication that that'll become a priority? Because of course I'll be on the board, so I can.
It is a priority for the directors, and that was noted very clearly today, that we are not satisfied with how it sits today. However, it was discussed with us that it really comes down to the funding from the state level. And if the state isn't going to increase the money given to the region, then are the individual libraries going to pick up the expense of a tech person?
Another question is, I'll probably find this out in a week, but how's it going with replacing Danny Kroon? Because that really cripples the operation.
Yeah, there's been a lot of turnover at Traverse de Sioux at the headquarters, and the head cataloger is leaving as of next week. And there's nobody yet to replace her. And my understanding from the meeting is that Dale is looking at a temporary position to fill in until someone comes on full-time. He mentioned looking at colleges, schools, places that are closed or at least limited hours in the summer, and perhaps someone from the academic side would be able to come over to TDS and help us through a transition while they fill that position in a full-time basis.
What kind of staffing do they have at TDS? I don't even know how many employees they have.
So Dale Zelenka is the director. There's an assistant director, Orrin Austin. There's a full-time administrative assistant. There's a part-time administrative specialist who's more on the HR finance side. Donnie Kroon is the cataloger. She has an assistant. John Miller is he's the one who goes to all the libraries and makes sure technology is in place as far as our software, our hardware within the libraries, patron computers, staff computers. And then we have an ILL full-time person, Darla Sorensen, and she has an assistant as well. I believe that takes care of it.
Okay. Very good.
There's been, Jeannie left, there's Donnie's leaving. There was an administrative person who left. There's been quite a bit of turnover in the last couple of years.
Thank you.
So III, big changes, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it has great patron functionality. One of the coolest things is when you type in a search and you type it in wrong, "did you mean" comes up. Love that. Right now we don't get that. I think CERC is trying to work toward that, but III has it. So that's one of the really neat things, and I'm so confident our staff can handle this transition. They're used to working with CERC. These systems aren't so radically different that they're not going to be able to handle this. Fully confident we'll be able to take a new system on just fine.
Very good.
Okay, and moving on from that, summer reading kicked off with a day of fun on June 9th. Katie was here to talk about that. And just to follow up, registration for the children's program has closed, and there are over 830 registrants. So it's another banner year, and we're really excited about all the things that are going on. Lots of kids. 75, if you saw the paper, 75 kids at the DNR program, beyond our wildest dreams. It just went fantastic yesterday. Teens can still come and register. There's no cutoff for that. And then there's some programs for teens coming up as well. Adult Services Librarian Linda Lindquist has said there's increased use from the microfilm. I see that. We're really pleased that it's getting a lot of use, both from the scanning side, but really from the microfilm side lately. That's been great to see. And we can once in a while get microfilms from other states. So people are coming in, and Linda noted Iowa and North Dakota microfilms are coming in, so that's good. And then we have our Ancestry Library genealogy database. I've done statistics now for 2 months, and we've averaged about 100 sessions a month. I'm thrilled with that. I just think that's great. Now, that included 2 classes that I taught, Introduction to Using the Database. And then tomorrow is our intro for the staff, which had to be delayed. But really for the staff, it's how to troubleshoot patron questions, primarily with printing and saving. But I'll give them some tips too, because they're interested in using it as patrons as well. Really excited about that, and a big thanks again to the Friends of the Library for making that possible. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Very good. And then moving on to programming.
Yes. Well, tonight, if you want to get outside, I don't know how the Nats will be tonight, but we're going to have a concert in the park. In German Park. It starts at 6:30. It's all ages. It's a trio of sisters from Hutchinson. They'll be playing children's classics and some 40s and 50s music. Everybody's welcome, and the Friends are making that event possible. On Tuesday, July 15th, from 2 to 4, is a comics arts workshop for teens. There's still opportunities to register for that. Give us a call, 359-8331. And then from 4 to 5, there will be an art show with their creations. We'll have a reception with refreshments. Next Thursday, the 17th at 6 p.m., we're partnering with New Ulm Actors Community Theater to present a backstage pass. Now their Fiddler on the Roof production is coming up, and so we're giving a backstage look behind the scenes on the making of a play, talking to the actors, the director, seeing what they do to put on a show of this size. And that will be up at the former middle school. Monday, July 21st at 7 o'clock, we're sponsoring the Monday night concert in the park with KNUJ and New Ulm Park and Rec. The Little Prairie Pickers, local favorites, and good friends of the library will be there. I will be doing another introduction to ancestry class. I thought it might be good to do this about once a month, especially as we get into the fall and people have more time on their hands through the winter getting a feel. I think we'll increase our numbers at that point. So once a month, and for July, it'll be Friday, July 25th at 8:30. It's working out pretty well. We're not open at that time, and we do finish up about the time that the library opens, so that's going all right. There is registration for that, and you can call the library again, 359-8331 for that. And I want to mention the Saturday, August 2nd, 10 to 12 in the morning. Historian Arnkind will do a fur trade experience program for kids of all ages, but school-age children and up is really where it's targeted. He is absolutely fantastic. If you've never seen him, he's so enthusiastic. He brings so many, an outfit, he brings so many artifacts. Kids get hands-on. He's just tremendous. So I encourage everyone to come in. For that, it's free. There's no registration. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Very good. And now it looks like we have a water issue in the children's room.
The first week I was actually the director. I let Larry know, or I actually asked him, Larry, you sure you don't want to handle this? This is, it really did a number in our children's room, and it had to do with a seam in the roof that our maintenance techs then caulked. And thankfully, we haven't had to test it. I don't want to test it, at least for a while. But we took down our computers for a few days, the patron ones, because there was water in that area. I think we only lost a keyboard. Everything else came back. We just let everything dry out as a precautionary measure. And we're back up and running. And thanks to Elwood Zabel with our building, he's our building official, took a look at it, made some suggestions, and our maintenance techs are fantastic. Not only did they seal it, but they cleaned up the ceiling. You wouldn't even know that we had this problem. But our staff did a great job of troubleshooting as well. So we made it through.
Very good. And now we have a guest speaker today. Mr. Denny Warda is here.
I'm sorry, that's not the Wanda Gog one.
I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. Oh, that's Herman Artwork. We're not quite there. We're
not
going to
quite
wait.
today. Although
this-
Denny knows a lot about this too.
Very good.
I'm going to move over here so I can have the picture shown. Ron, if you would put that up. The Wanda Gog Statue Committee met, and this is the artist's latest rendering. And it's done in clay. It's 1/8 scale, and it's going to come up here any minute. Now he's taken suggestions from the committee and has produced a number of drawings, and this is his second clay model for us. Again, this would be in front of the windows on the Broadway side. Now she's turned to look at the New Ulm Library sign that's in concrete, which we would anticipate would have cats on it. Thank you, Mayor. And that's a cat behind her as well. She's on a pedestal that we would anticipate would slope a bit because the ground is sloped. Now, at this point, the artist has stopped his adjustments. Oh, thanks. That's great. This is his final creation for us at this time. We're looking at fundraising at this point to be able to continue tweaking this, but people seemed pretty happy with it. I think Denny can verify. People are pretty happy with this model. And there she is, and the cat is from the back. Now we're in the process of contacting vendors for things such as landscaping, lighting, talking to the city about this particular design and any potential liability issues that might come into factor. Are there any questions about that?
You said there would be cats on the New Ulm sign. Are they sculpted also, or?
I've seen pictures. I can bring those next month. I believe Larry showed them a number of, it's been
So it's
quite
that-
a while.
Okay, so that was more a board type
Yeah.
design instead of
Yes.
sculpted.
This is the only cat that I've seen sculpted.
Okay.
Right. Other questions?
You mentioned that fundraising will now be a focus, but is the library paying for this?
The library is not paying for the statue. What's going to come into consideration is the maintenance. Who's going to handle the maintenance and the electricity of lights, that sort of thing. And, you know, I would think that the library will have to play some role in that, but not for fundraising.
Okay.
We're looking at grants, writing grants, to potentially be able to create a limited edition scale model for people to purchase and buy into this project.
So when you say we're looking into, you don't mean the library, you mean the group that's doing this?
Yes, I speak for the committee. Yes. Thank you for that clarification. Yes. Other questions? Okay. Thank you.
And then our next item is an update on the Brown County Commissioners funding.
Okay, I'm president of Brown County Library Board, and as we met in June, we decided that we should probably present again in front of the commissioners in August. And last year, we sent just a letter saying that we really would request that there wouldn't be any decline in the funding, but definitely holding it and probably increasing it. Well, this year we decided that we would go before them again just to make ourselves known, and that we do have a concern because the funding has stayed the same now. We know it will be the same for this year because I got a notice from Chuck Enter and from the state, and so as of right now, it'll be 4 years that it has stayed at that amount, and we just feel that it would be important to increase it. And so that's why we will present, this will be part of what we'll present, the form I passed out. And this is all information that Gail Christensen helped put together. She's from Sleepy Eye. Two of the things that aren't on there that kind of surprised me, well, one of them I kind of thought of. I think the card holders, we have many more than that, because if you think about families, a mother comes in and gets books for her children, and really we're having more users than just that mother. It's the children too, and they may not have their own cards. And the other thing that I know Chris and Gail both mentioned is that if you drive past the libraries at night, you will see people parked in the parking lot. And the reason is they can hook up to Wi-Fi. So we are providing a service for more people than we realize, because they can access it. And, you know, some of those are students maybe home from college and mom and dad don't have Wi-Fi, or we decided, you know, visitors in town, that would be an easy place for them to access. So we are providing services to more people than we probably have on this sheet of facts. And so if you have anything else that you think I should add, right now we're scheduled to present on the 21st of August at 2:30. And I know that Chris is planning on attending, and Gail and Sue Radel from our board, and possibly a couple other members. And it's nothing really new, but we feel that we need to let them know that we do have a concern that the funding needs to stay at where it is and hopefully increase to keep providing all the services that the county libraries do provide.
In Marion, we had a drop, was it 10%? A drop 3 years ago?
4 years,
4 years
ago,
ago.
probably. Yeah.
A 10% drop in fees, or in
Funding.
funding from Brown County.
And so we've never recovered that.
Question. I have a question about one of the statistics, and then the fourth one, 165,000 people used. Is that circulations, or it can't be people because there aren't that many people in Brown County?
But it could be visits.
I'm guessing that's the door count.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so that's, yeah.
And we don't have an official door count. We just do kind of a
Yeah.
a
That's
personal
big-
one as people go in. But I know some of them do have counters.
Yes.
And so that's what they're going with.
yeah, That's different than people.
Yes. It probably should say visits.
Yeah,
Visits.
that would be.
That would be good. I can have that changed even though they have the forms already. Anything else that you would like to add or you suggest that I take to the Board of Commissioners?
Well, I don't know if you need statistics, but through my years of being a librarian, there's a relentless increase of 4 to 8% on everything the library buys in terms of materials, whether it's subscriptions or databases or books. It's always 4 to 8%. You'll never go below 4%. So if you're not getting any increase, that means every year you're obviously losing
Buying less.
considerable ground.
I agree. Because I could say a book averaged $16 before, and this year it's more than that for me. And that's elementary. That's not the
I just
higher
did
level books.
The books we purchased this, of course, we're an academic institution, but I think the books we purchased through the first 6 months averaged $38 a book. And you can't find much under 20 anymore. If it's a paperback, we might get lucky, but
Okay, thank you.
And now we have many action items to go through. The first one is resolution number 2014-08, approving an $1,800 expenditure of the Lions Club donation for large print books.
And that's on page 21. The Lions have just been a great friend over the years to the library, and I believe it was last year they asked us, and how could we help you? We need large print books. That's really our need. And so, again, this year, earlier in the year, they gave us a $200 donation. Well, this time, they're rounding it out with an $1,800 donation for large print books. And back in 2010, you approved a resolution that for all donations $500 or more, I would come to you and within 90 days and ask to expend those funds. We do anticipate that we would spend these funds by the end of 2014. Big thanks to the Lions.
I move adoption.
I'll second that.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I did.
Thank you.
The resolution is approved. Resolution number 2014-09, approving the January 1st, 2014 through June 30th, 2014 donations and memorials.
And that is on page 22. There's an attached list. It includes donations that the Friends have paid for as well. I think it's always important to see all the hard work that the Friends do and the benefits that we reap from their efforts. I'd be happy to answer any questions about any individual donations.
If there are no questions, is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is approved. Resolution number 2014-10, approving donations of the Herman artwork for the Herman Memorial or Monument Society. And this is where we get a guest speaker. Mr. Denny Warda.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to see the library board at work. Thank you so much for your dedication in keeping alive a strong tradition in New Ulm. There probably is no more important work than educating people, and the library offers it for everyone. So keep that up. And what I would like to present to the library board as an idea is a gift that is from the Herman Monument Society. Years past, we used a cutout that was created by an artist named Arnie Lillo, and it is a numbered item that was very popular years back. We marketed them as a memento with a $1,000 donation. We have a few of them left, and we will be continuing this. But we think the library, being an educational place, should have this plaque along with the two satellite smaller plaques that explains a little bit about the great importance. This little plaque says, "A national symbol. The 106th Congress of the United States of America designated the Herman Monument in New Ulm, Minnesota, as an official symbol recognizing the great contributions by Americans of German heritage, AD 2000. To put a little different spin on this, I just returned from Germany a couple weeks ago and made a visit to the Herman battlefield and to the Herman Monument at Detmold. There is a strong excitement about an upcoming epic movie going to be created by a great German, now American filmmaker by the name of Wolfgang Petersen, a Hollywood production titled Arminius. Arminius was the Latin name for Herman. When a great leader in the 1500s wrote a opera about Arminius, he wanted to get rid of the Latin part of it. Martin Luther named him Hermann, which is honored man. In the 1850s, a great British historian by the name of Creasy stated very bluntly that there would be today no English nor German language were it not for the victory that Arminius had in the year 9. Those are pretty strong words, because today English is probably as close to a universal language as exists. And of course this is true because had Arminius not been able to defeat those 3 Roman legions, the German language would have been Latinized, similar to French, Spanish, and Italian. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a bit of neat history that is accompanying this story. And since it is also a symbol of our city, it's even all the more important. So we're hoping that the library board will find a prominent place to put this memento, and that people will be inspired to read it and learn more about Herman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Very good. Is there a motion to approve this donation from the Herman Monument Society?
I make the motion.
Second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution is approved. Thank you so much, Mr. Warda. We appreciate all that you've done, and thank you to the Monument Society as well. Moving on to resolution number 2014-11, approving the transfer of the Joan, I'm going to mix this up, Biaz's donation of cane and chair to the Brown County Historical Society.
That's on page 27. And last fall, Joan came in. She is Fred Johnson's granddaughter. She came to town, gave a presentation about her grandfather, and used the cane and the chair as props. And after that, had donated those items to the library. Now, the thought at that time was that we would create a permanent exhibit to show a period in time. The library, when it was created in 1937. Since that time, Ms. Baeza has let me know that she would prefer that we transfer the gift to the Historical Society because she intends to donate other items of her grandfather's, papers, books, a table, to the Historical Society, and had asked that we have those housed all in one place. That by receiving that correspondence, that changed the nature of a permanent exhibit. And so our small committee, Gigi was on that committee, Denny, George Glatzbach, we discussed a way we can honor Fred Johnson in another way and transfer these items to the Historical Society, be in the best interest of the items and all parties concerned, that just move that over there and the Historical Society can create an exhibit if they so choose.
I move adoption.
I second it.
Very good. Did we get everybody?
We both did.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution is approved. Moving on to resolution number 2014-12, approving the 2015 preliminary library budget.
And actually, I handed out the resolution 2014-12 revised.
Oh, there we go.
It's stapled together. Now, that came about because of the directors meeting that I went to today and was informed by TDS Director Dale Zelenka that, in fact, our costs are increasing more than he anticipated. There's a formula that is taken into account when he's assessing fees, including paying some salaries for automation. We're paying delivery costs. Some of it's based on the number of items we have, the number of patrons we have. And so I had budgeted a 5% increase. In fact, it is 8.68% of an increase, which is $2,114.22. That is shown here in this revised sheet that I gave you. That changes the preliminary library budget. I thought all the way back, was thinking about how to do this. I decided it was not enough time, nor am I inclined to decrease lines any further at this point in time, knowing that next year our TDS fees will likely increase.
Correct.
I'll be looking at something like this perhaps again. We've weeded. We keep our patron database clean. We've done those things that could potentially, change our fees just slightly. So what I did was factor in that cataloging and processing cost. Rather than the original resolution you received, which showed a 0.21% decrease in our overall budget, now it's a 0.08 decrease, or $585.78. Now, this is a preliminary that would go to the finance director. we don't have an idea yet about the costs that they put in, which include personnel, which is the biggest part of our budget. Now, I did want to mention that in the letter I received from the finance director, he talked about keeping costs stable. He did say that I would have to prepare a 5% decrease in the budget, and I wouldn't have to present it to him until it was, or if it were asked for. I just want you to be aware that a 5% decrease in our budget is about $35,000. And I took a look at all the costs that we have control over here with, excluding personnel, excluding the gas, the steam, all of that. And excluding the books, the AV materials, and the subscriptions, which really...
We're already committed.
We are tight. Those have been decreased over the years. So excluding that, we have control over about $38,000. And that's including things like building maintenance and office supplies and building supplies. So I just want you to be aware that if a 5% decrease would change the nature of our hours. And he's not asked me for that, but I will have to prepare that here in the next few weeks and have it ready and hope that it doesn't happen. I'd be happy to answer any questions about any line items, about any of the changes that I've made.
If there are no questions, do we have a motion to approve this preliminary library budget, the revised resolution 2014-12?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is approved. And then resolution number 2014-13, which is approving the use of fund balance to purchase and install furniture and carpeting in the redesigned public seating area.
And I did email you with that addendum, and then I did copy that and give that to you here at your station. We're in the process of working with our second floor and redesigning. We've created more space for the young adult area. We've actually shifted them to the Broadway side, and we do have more shelf space. People seem to be pleased with it, and I think we as staff are happy because we don't have to weed as heavily in a collection that's growing and is increasing in popularity. So we're looking at the second floor parking lot side into a quiet reading space, a meeting area. I came to you last month requesting up to $15,000 for the purchase and installation of furniture and carpet. We haven't purchased any public furniture not in Larry's time. So it's been nearly 10 years. So bids were solicited from 5 local vendors, and we did receive one bid. So New Home Furniture bid $12,254.04 to provide carpeting. It's like a cutout. So the carpet that's there, you'll see a border edge. So we think it will transition into that area a little more smoothly than just chopping it off and making the one area completely different. Includes chairs, more like the overstuffed ones that you see. There will be 16 of those in 3. One's a pattern and then 2 solid colors. And coffee tables, end tables. Now, my hope is that when we move things like noon tunes and book groups, it'll be easy to change the design around, and that's what we talked to them about when we looked at getting this bid. So fund balance, as I mentioned last month, fund balance is at about $300,000.
I think you had noted too at our last meeting that we've had many pieces of furniture that we've had to to get rid of just because they are no longer usable.
Yeah, because we have such a great patron base who come in, use our furniture. Yeah, that needs to turn over time. So yeah, I believe it was maybe a year ago, possibly 2 years ago, that we surplused 28 of the chairs, not the overstuffed, but they have padding, and we had to surplus those because it was not efficient to try to repair them.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Resolution is approved. I would have one item. I would entertain that we skip our August meeting. And I did touch base with Chris prior to this, and there are no anticipated important agenda items that we would have to deal with in August. And so if anyone would make a motion.
I will make a motion that we do not hold an August meeting.
And I will second that.
Very good. The motion is approved. Our next meeting will be in September.
Marie?
Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other additions to the agenda? If not, I will close this meeting at 4:42 PM. Thank you, everyone.